Can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, good. Hello, everyone. I thought the best way to do this is to really just share with you to begin with what we do at the SBDC, kind of like the day in the life of an advisor. So, first of all, SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center. And so, as those words say, we get to help people start, grow, buy or sell their business, any and every stage of business development. And I love my job because I get to help people every day see their dreams come true by helping people start a business or grow a business or buy a business that they've been dreaming of owning. And so I just figured it would make more sense to begin with saying, like, giving you an example. So this is an actual real example. And first of all, I'm going to preface it by saying that every time a new client walks in, an entrepreneur walks in, everything is confidential that we talk to that person about. In this scenario, this couple, a husband and wife, did work with me for over the last year and a half. They are officially in business. We have written a success story about their starting their business. It went in our newsletter, which goes to 17,000 people across Alaska and the lower 48 and resides on our website. So that's a huge deal too for a small business to make our newsletter, our story. Now, this scenario starts off with, in most cases, a client walks through my door as I'm the business advisor and they need help, right? And they couldn't get the funding they needed. And just to kind of give you an idea of the dollars that we work with and help our clients get funding for, they were looking for just over $1 million. So 1.2 million is what they were looking for to start their business, which what they were trying to do, they bought a piece of property on a Klutna Lake, just north of Anchorage, and they wanted to start kind of like a high-end resort lodge. And so that's what they needed money for. They were not able to get the funding. They had gone to a couple lenders. So they came in to ask me for help. I looked at their business plan and I reviewed their financials, and I quickly realized what was wrong. They weren't selling themselves. It turns out that the husband has over 30 years in construction experience running not only his own construction companies, but working for really large construction firms. I mean, he was top notch, right? That wasn't even spelled out in the business plan, all of his experience. And his wife, she had over 25 years experience as a realtor in marketing and sales and owning her own former businesses. And again, that was not shared in the business plan. The point I'm trying to make is that lenders are looking for certain things today. 20 years ago, when I first started my own business, lenders were looking for very fancy business plan, 20, 30, even 40 pages of graphs and pictures and everything like that, and all these projections. But today, lenders know that the success of a business, what will make and break a business, is the owners themselves. What is their experience? What is their education? What is their knowledge of the business they want to start? That's what the lenders care about. And so that's what I'm able to do when I work with my clients, to get them to understand it's about them. And so what we did is we rewrote the business plan, sharing right after the executive summary their history, their story, and their bios, really playing on the fact that they knew what they were doing, the money they had already invested in their company, future company, I guess you would say, and the fact that they were totally invested in this. They were even planning on living on the property. So after finishing the business plan, we rewrote the financial projections as well to make it clear to the lenders how they planned to use the money that they were asking for first of all, and then how they planned on generating revenue in the business to be able to pay the loan back, right? Because if you loan money to somebody, you want a clear idea of how they're going to pay you back for that money. So that's why we made it clear to the lenders in our plan. And so I'm happy to say now, well, it took about 4 months to get that loan closed. First of all, I had to make sure to find the right lender for them, because not every lender can loan that amount of money. Some lenders at some banks are only given permission by their bank to loan, say 100,000 or $500,000 or only up to $1 million. So I had to make sure and find the right lender. And that's one of the things that we do as well, is we have training ourselves and have gotten to know all the different banks and lending organizations throughout the state of Alaska, even nationally. And so we know who to pair our clients with and who to make sure that they're given success to. Because the other thing we don't want to do is have our clients go to lenders that are only going to pull their credit score. Because as you can imagine, that really, really hurts a client to have their credit score pulled again and again. We've seen credit scores plummet something like 50, 60, 70 points just from several hard pulls. So that gives you an idea of a really successful story of what we can do, and kind of like the day in the life of what I do at the SBDC. SBDCs are located all over the United States. There are over 1,000, and they were first formed in 1986. So that was a long time ago. Our funding is not dependent on whether, who's in office, if it's a Democrat, Republican, anything like that. We are funded by the SBA, which is the Small Business Administration. And as you can imagine, the Small Business Administration has been around since the 60s. Nobody's going to mess with the SBA. And then two, once you become a client, that's when you're eligible for SBA loans. So a lot of the loans that our lenders work with are through the SBA. We also, most of the SBDCs across the nation are hosted by universities. So I'm actually a UAA staff member. And what that gives me is access to a lot of the resources that UAA provides. And so then I can turn around and provide those resources to my clients. For example, under kind of our umbrella, it's called BEI, Business Enterprise Institute. I can connect my clients to APEX, which is government contracting. So if any of my clients want to go after or bid on government contracts, I can connect them directly with the organization free of charge that helps them set up their SAM.gov registration. If I have a client that wants to do anything with manufacturing, I can connect them with MEP, which is Manufacturing Enterprise Partnership. And what MEP does is they help people with, again, issues. How do you put labels on a package? How do you package my item that I've created? How do I make sure that it passes through FDA requirements? How do I set up a supply chain? All of these things MEP does. And they're probably one that I partner with the most working in my position. We also have ACDC. Wouldn't you love to have that as your acronym? That stands not for the rock band, but for Alaska Cooperative Development Center. And they help my clients who are interested in setting up co-ops. And we also work with the Center for Economic Development. So any of my clients that are looking to start bigger organizations that would have a huge impact on the economic development of their community, I would connect them there. So you can see, like, it's, and that old adage, right? It's not about what you know, it's who you know. So I love networking my clients to the right people that can provide them free resources. I honestly, in the very first meeting with my clients, tell people, don't pay for anything until you ask me first if I can help you connect to that right person. So just so you understand, there are 7 separate offices all throughout the state of Alaska for our SBDCs. We have an office in Seward. We have an office in Homer. We have an office in Fairbanks, in Juneau, in Anchorage. And of course, I'm in the Mat-Su. My office is in Wasilla, but I cover the entire Mat-Su, all the way up to Talkeetna, all the way up towards Chickaloon and Glacier View, and then down to Chugach. That's kind of where my Mat-Su Valley ends. And then we also have what we call the rural program. The rural program covers anything and everywhere else in Alaska. Our rural program coordinator and business advisors with the rural program, they will fly anywhere and everywhere. They work with remote villages. They have a business advisor in Nome. I've actually got to fly out to meet her before. She's amazing. And they really work with everybody throughout the state that cannot get to one of our centers. So just kind of going through, looking at our time also, we provide 3 distinct services. And I know I kind of said that when I gave you that scenario, but just to kind of spell that out a little bit, we do 3 major things. We do advising. So as I shared with you, clients coming in to meet with me either in person or virtually. My office is on the 2nd floor of the Key Bank in Wasilla, but I also meet with clients virtually in the Mat-Su. Anchorage has an office at our state center, which is part of UAA, and that is at the Brigade building. So anytime if anybody's in Anchorage, you can meet with any of the SBDC advisors there. And you can go to acsbdc.org, our website, to register to be a client. If you or any of your personal clients are interested in starting businesses or knowing more about what we do, you can reach us there. The second thing we do is we provide tools and resources. So a lot of those tools I kind of mentioned with that scenario of the couple that I helped, and that is business plans and financial projections. We have literally thousands of documents, resource tools at our disposal, but we don't want to inundate people when they first come to us. So we mainly share with them 5 or 6 very clear documents that help them. We also have subscriptions to the IBIS World reports. If any of you or one of our clients were to want to learn about a particular industry, these IBIS World reports cost up to $1,500 a report. Because we have a statewide subscription to these IBIS World industry reports, we're able to provide these reports to our clients at no charge. They're amazing, and they give clients a lot of detailed information about their industry, because we're not in the job of trying to convince somebody to go into business if we feel that business won't be successful. There are a lot of the situations where it would be better for somebody that maybe does a craft or something to remain a hobby. We always tell people not to quit their J job, to make sure that their business idea can definitely be 100% successful before they say quit working a job, quit having that regular income coming in. The third thing that we do is we provide workshops. There are over 70 on-demand workshops on our website. So again, if you go to the acsbdc.org website and click on our suite of services, you can click on workshops, and there is a plethora of workshops, anywhere from how to start a business to how to sell a business, to importing and exporting, to legal issues surrounding a business. So all of those are available to really anybody. You don't have to be a client of the SBDC, but of course we would love for you to register to be a client if you or anyone of your clients throughout the state that you're working with is interested in starting a business. Regarding workshops, next week, and hopefully all of you know this, but if you don't, I'm happy to share it. Next week is Alaska Entrepreneurship Week. And it is a focus week throughout the state for anybody and everybody that is an entrepreneur, interested in being an entrepreneur. And so all across the state, the SBDCs have put together a series of workshops in every single one of our centers, even rural. So even if you are not in one of those particular areas, you can join one of our live virtual workshops, just like you're joining this. And I want to put a plug in for two of the workshops that I'm doing in the Matsu. One is how to start a business, and that's going to be on Tuesday, October 8th next week. And the second one that I'm doing is Sales 101 in 2024 and how to create a sales pipeline. That may not sound very sexy, but it's very, very important for people that are selling a product, selling a service, to understand that if they don't have a strong pipeline, that they're not going to be successful in making sure that they have clients at the beginning stages all the way to the close. So I would highly encourage you to, again, go to our aksbdc.org website, and you can find information on all of the Small Business Development Center workshops that we're presenting next week. I do want to mention and take a few minutes here to talk about all the other services that we provide too. Last year, or actually almost 2 years ago now, our former Anchorage Center director got really interested in AI. And a lot of you know AI as artificial intelligence. And I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing a ton of good and bad about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. Well, his name is Carlos Machuca, and he got really interested in, okay, what is this AI? Can it help us with what we're doing at the SBDCs, business advising, everything like that? And he was doing so much research that he presented at the America's SBDC a proposal he submitted. And it was so popular that over 30 states now across the US have asked Carlos to do training with their state directors and their staff. And because of all of this that he's been doing, Alaska is now the first SBDC across the nation to have its own AI resource center. And as all of you that are Alaskans know, not always is Alaska #1 on any list, right? Unfortunately, we are towards the bottom of a lot of lists, and it's really sad to think about it that way. But I'm so happy to announce that we are the first in the nation to have an AI resource center. And so every single one of you would have access to that resource center. It has been funded by the state, it's funded by the UAA itself, Alaska Anchorage site, and all of you would have access to that AI resource center. And we talk about that also on our website. And actually, thank you, Dominica, for putting that up. So that's a big one. We also have what we call Buy Alaska. And I would love for you to look at that too, because Buy Alaska is, again, one of our, I guess, programs, but more importantly, it is a place for any entrepreneur, any service provider across the entire state to post what they are selling, to create a, let's say, a profile, almost like you would in Facebook, that you could highlight the services you provide or the products you provide. And so Buy Alaska is set up to promote Alaska products, Alaska made. Now, it is different than the distinction of made in Alaska, but I can guarantee you almost all of those products have that label made in Alaska if they are on our Buy Alaska website. So definitely look at that, Buy Alaska. I would encourage any of you to tell your clients about it if they aren't promoting their own products or services on the Buy Alaska site, because again, this is a national location. We highlight products. We do a lot of promotional videos on products. It's like our own Etsy, if you want to think about it that way, it's like our own Amazon where we're featuring products made in Alaska. And I want to save enough time for questions and everything, but I do want to share one more thing. You know how a lot of times in our life, things come full circle. In 1999, and I'm dating myself with that date, but in 1999, I wanted to start my first business. I was living in Erie, Pennsylvania, up on Lake Erie, beautiful area of Pennsylvania. And I found out about the Gannon University's SBDC. I also never knew about what an SBDC was, but somebody told me. So I found out they help people start businesses. I started meeting with one of the advisors there, helped me with the business plan, helped me with demographics, who I would be selling to, that type of thing, and really the nuts and bolts of starting a business. 4 years later, I was doing extremely well. I had built my company up to 10 employees already. And they came back to me and they asked me to start going with the director to legislative and representative meetings, speaking on behalf of the SBDC. I was very, very happy to do that because they had done so much to help me. And without them, I would not have been that successful business owner. At my 10-year anniversary for my business, Point Click Learn, the former executive director of the SBDC there at Gannon was my MC for my 10-year anniversary. And I would love to tell you that she also was the one that was my major referral or reference when I applied for my job here in Alaska with the Anchorage SBDC. So talk about full circle. So a person that had helped me back in 1999 helped me again get my job at the SBDC here in Anchorage. So again, I love my job because I love giving back to people and to small business owners. So thank you very much for listening. And I think now you have like 10 minutes for questions, right?
7, but we can give it 10. Don't worry about it if we have that many questions. Thank you, Misty. I appreciate you sharing the stories and that information about Alaska Small Business Development Center. If we have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or ask in the chat box. So individuals who come to you, they already have an idea.
Yes and no. One of my favorite success stories is a gentleman that was recently separated from his military position. I work with a lot of veterans. My whole family's former veterans, so I have a huge heart for the veteran population. And he came to me and he's like, I don't know what to do now. I have different ideas. I know I want to start my own business because I don't think I could work for somebody because of my PTSD and everything else I have going on. So, but I don't know. And I said, well, let's figure it out. And so what we did is we came up with 3 different business ideas that, could be viable businesses. And we worked over those 3 different ideas for literally 3 months. And we finally came up with one idea that he thought he could really, get passionate about. And so, no, you don't have to come with an idea. A lot of people do, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So that means you have some sort of tool that you use to spark some creative thinking for individuals who do not have, or are you like advisor? So counseling people about their passions and asking all the questions. Okay.
Yeah, that's mainly what it is. Once we came up with those 3 ideas, then I pulled those IBIS World reports so he could read, and those things are 50 pages. There's more information about particular industries than you could ever want. And then we also, for the one he selected, The most important thing I think that we do with people when they have an idea and they've kind of solidified their idea is we put together their financial projection model. And what this is a very fancy spreadsheet. It helps them understand how much money they're going to need to start their business, or if they're just willing to invest their own money, what their expenses are going to be once they open their business, and then what their revenue potential is for the business. And then once you get all of that information put into the spreadsheet, then you can see your income potential. And that's all presented on an income statement. And that's where we either see that they're in the black, which is positive, or they're in the red, which is negative. And that's really where it's a clear indicator for people to say, you know what? I think I just better keep this as a hobby. After looking at this, numbers don't lie. I've had several clients tell me that numbers just don't lie. And while you kind of have this, dream notion that, oh, I'd love to start a business doing this, then it's really sometimes hard to make that a reality and make it a prosperous business where you're stopping or quitting your own job. And you've got a lot of things on the line, right? You may have a mortgage, you may have bills, you may have mouths to feed, a lot of things like that. So we help you not make mistakes. We don't want to see you go out and get a business license if it's not the right thing to do. We don't want to see you, take out a big loan if it's just not going to work. So we actually show a lot of tough love and unconditional love too, if you know what I mean. And so it's kind of like a full-on wraparound approach.
Thank you. We do have a question from Karen. Who is our person in Homer and where are they located?
So what I'm going to ask you to do, Karen, is, and I think Dominica, you shared that on our SBDC website. You have that about advisors, that link. You posted that at 10:29. So if you go up a little bit, the advisors, we have all of our advisors listed and excuse me, their bio, their backgrounds, everything like that. So we have that listed on there.
Yes, it appears Robert Green is Homer Business Advisor.
Yes.
We have time for one more question. So how long does the process take, would you say? And so if someone has that idea already solidified and then you run the numbers, and do you also help with management of employees?
Yes, very good question. So the process depends on what they're coming in for. So if somebody doesn't need funding and just needs to set up an LLC, get their EIN number and their business license, we can literally do that in a 1-hour sitting, right? Because a lot of people, if they want to provide a particular service that they already know a lot about, let's say like, somebody wanting to start a business in cleaning houses. So they've already kind of been doing it on the side. They want to form their own specific business as a house cleaner. And all they really need is to set up that business structure. That can be done very quickly, literally an hour, 2-hour setting. Now, somebody that needs a business loan, depending on how large the loan is, that could take anywhere from 3 to 4 months because you have to go through, again, like you just said, the financial projections have to be written. You have to send that to the bank. The bank comes back. You have to then do the business plan. They have to get it to their underwriting. And then a lot of times it goes to SBA. So that then takes another month. If appraisals have to be done, if you're buying land or buying a building, there's just a lot of steps. But the nice thing is I'm there and all the business advisors across the state are there for their clients across the board.
Thank you. Are your services free?
Yes. Yeah. So all of our business advising services are free. All of our tools and resources are free. There are some of the workshops where we've had to pay to have like an attorney, a CPA, somebody like that charge us. And so there is a slight fee charged back. If you become an SBDC client, you'll get a discount code. So most of those workshops will only be like $25. If you're a veteran, if you're disabled, or if you're part of DVR, anything like that, all workshops are free.
Thank you. Well, wonderful. So please make sure to spread the word about the services of Alaska Small Business Development Center. If you know of someone who's thinking about it. Do you have individuals who are current students but also think about starting their own business? Have you had any examples like that?
I actually had one high school student. If you are under 18, that person must come in with their parent. And I worked with the high school student and their parent to get the young lady's business set up. I have worked with one college student, and they were over 18, so I could work with them. And they started a really awesome web design and graphic design business. So worked with that individual quite a bit. And my background is actually teaching. I was a high school teacher, college teacher, and I'm an adjunct for UAA now as well. So I love working with that age group, whether high school or college. So yeah, definitely either if you know they're in the Mat-Su, send them my way, or if it's somebody at Anchorage or Fairbanks, again, we have amazing advisors and center directors all over the state.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Misty. And on your homepage, I see all the latest success stories. That's a lot of information. I was going through that, and it's just amazing how many individuals across the state you've helped and have been successful. Some of them I actually even know. So you may know them as well because we live in a small state. So thank you so much. I have, let's see. Ricky is sharing. Thank you, Misty. I will promote your department with my teen interns this year. Ricky also registered for a free viewing of how to obtain a small business license in Alaska because I have a home staging certification I have not used yet. Okay, way to go, Ricky. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Awesome. And I do want to add too, I do a lot of me personally, and honestly, all the center directors and business advisors across the state, we love partnering with all of you. In the Mat-Su Valley, I work a lot with 9-Star, with Jody there. I work with Job Connect. I work with, of course, the chambers, the Greater Wasilla Chamber, the Talkeetna Chamber, libraries, community centers. So I love partnering because I work with clients starting a business. They need employees. And so anytime you can send me employees, that's amazing because then I can connect. I love being that bridge to connect these people that have started a new business, but now can't find laborers to work for them. So definitely feel free, anybody reach out to me. Was my email address or anything listed? I can put it in right now.
Please do. Thank you. But you are also one of the expert advisors, right? On that page there.
Yeah, so I just put my email
great.
address.
Thank you, Misty.
Yeah, if anyone wants to reach out and talk to me about partnering, and if you're outside the Mat-Su Valley, I can definitely connect you directly with, Rule or Kenai or Juneau, whichever center that you would be closest to.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Misty. Thank you for joining the ACDC network. Thank you for your session today. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.